to all of you who are viewing right now on YouTube or on the app. We're blessed to be able to come to you live right now. I'm with Pastor Steve, our children's ministry pastor, and we have some exciting announcements for you about this Sunday, what's going to be taking place here at Calvary Chapel, Golden Springs, in regards to the children's ministry. If you were here last Sunday, the Lord really blessed, and we were just tremendously privileged to see how many of you came out and were blessed by the service. And then on Wednesday night, to be able to have a children's ministry service for the kids in the sanctuary while the adults were outside. Truly a blessing during that time. But we wanted to come to you really quickly just to walk you through the process of what's going to be taking place here on Sunday morning for the children. So what we're going to do right now, as we begin to take steps of opening back up our children's ministry, we want to give you just some information as to what those steps are going to look like, so you know what you can expect when you arrive on our property on Sunday. So I'm going to have Pastor Steve walk us through the drop-off process of what it's going to look like as you drop your children off, and then we'll come back around and let you guys know what it's going to look like from when you pick up your children.
Yeah. So when you guys walk into the church, you'll be escorted over to the children's ministry. And when you get to the main foyer, you get to these doors, there'll be a volunteer that will be greeting you. So follow me, and we'll show you what's going to be happening. At this point, our volunteer will ask you if you're here to pick up or drop off, and we'll assign you to the line accordingly. And so our drop-off area will be on the left-hand side. So let's walk this way, and you'll be walking with your children at this point. And we are asking that if we can limit the number of individuals that come over with you. And so if husband and wife are coming, if it just be one of the parents bringing the kids over, it would greatly help us, because we are trying to limit the number of people on our side. And so when you get to this area here, you're going to be asked to stop here, and we'll be directing you inside this classroom here to begin the check-in process with your children. And so once you're directed inside, you will remain on the left-hand side over here. And then again, we'll be stopped here just to make sure that we keep as much separation as possible. And once it's your turn to be checking in your children, someone will call you, a volunteer will direct you over to one of our 4 stations over here, and we'll be using our kid check system. And so we will have a volunteer on each computer, and they will be the ones checking in your children. And so you'll be giving the volunteer your phone number. He'll be punching in your number into the kiosk. He'll be printing out the stickers for you. We'll take the stickers, we'll hand them back to you. And at this point, we're going to ask that you take the stickers, place them on your child, and then at this point, your children will be escorted to their classrooms. So a volunteer will take your children and will take them to their classrooms through the other exit over here. When we are checking in, we're going to be balancing all of our classrooms, and your children will stay in the same classroom. So if you sign in, all 4 of your kids will be in the same class. And this is going to help limit the exposure to all the other families. So we're just trying to keep it as close as possible with the children.
Yeah, so as Pastor Steve just had mentioned, I think that's vitally important that you understand. Your kids that you bring together will stay together through the duration of the service. We are using all of the classrooms in our building, both downstairs and upstairs, so that we can keep it at 10 kids per classroom, plus the 2 teachers. So we're doing all we can to limit the amount of children in classrooms. We have an amazing volunteer base who are ready and willing and available to serve your kids. We're just excited to give you all the option to check your kids into children's ministry so they can be ministered to at their level. Again, we saw an amazing turnout in the children's ministry on Wednesday evening. The Lord really showed us a need, and so as the Lord has led Pastor Rawl to allow this step to take place to open back up the children's ministry, it's something that we're really excited about. But please do remember, we still do have all the options. If you still feel comfortable staying in your car and listening to the study in your car, we will still have the FM transmitter. If you want to stay outside in the tent with your children, you can do that as well. We'll still have the tent outside. It's going to be a beautiful day on Sunday. Feel free to enjoy the service outside with your children. And then also, you can also come in the fellowship hall with your children if you want to do that as well. And this Sunday, we're going back to our original standard, what it's always been here at Calvary Chapel, to allow children ages 8 years old and up in the sanctuary, where we will be social distanced as well in the sanctuary, just like last Sunday. And then also want to remind you of what was mentioned on Wednesday night. Face masks are now going to be optional inside the sanctuary. So if you come and you want to wear a face mask, you can. If you don't want to wear one, you don't have to. So that's just some other important information for you to know. But what I want to do now is we're going to exit. And as we exit, as Pastor Steve just said, your child will be escorted to their class by a teacher, and you will then exit to the sanctuary, and we'll show you what that exit is going to look like. Then we'll run through the pickup process with your children.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to mention as well, too, the children's ministry is going to be for those that are 4 years old up to 6th grade. And so as we are in limited capacity to be opening up, we're going to start with 4-year-olds all the way to 6th grade. And so let's go take a look at the exit and pick up.
So as you drop your kid off, or your kids, you will exit this way. You will go out this door, back into the foyer, and then be able to enter the sanctuary for the service. And then immediately after service, when service is over, you'll come back to these doors that you were just at for the pickup process.
Yeah, and so the pickup process is going to look the same thing. They're going to ask you if you're here to drop off or pick up. You're going to let them know you're here to pick up your children, and they'll direct you to the correct line. And at this point, you're going to be on the right-hand side to pick up your children, and we'll have a volunteer at the very end of this hallway or this kiosk line right here. And we're going to ask at this point that you have your guardian receipt with you. And again, we would just ask that it would be one parent coming to pick up your child. When you present your guardian receipt, KidCheck, the system that we use, has the option to alert the classroom where your child is at. And so we will then be alerting the classroom, and we will be having a volunteer bring your child down back to the area where you dropped them off at. And so we'll continue here. And again, we're back at the point where we were when we're entering into this classroom. And again, we're going to ask that you just be patient with us and wait until you are called to come in to the classroom. And when you are called in, you will stay on the right-hand side. And we're only going to allow 1 to 2 people in this spot to pick up their children. You'll present your guardian receipt here at the door to the volunteer. The volunteer will go grab your children for you, take off their stickers, throw the guardian receipt and the stickers away, and then you will receive your children here, and then you will exit right back out the doors as you were when you dropped off your kids, and then exit out the main foyer towards the bookstore side of the building.
And again, we just thank you all so much for your patience during this time. I know that this time has presented many difficulties to many different families, and as a church, our heart's desire is to minister to the body of Christ here, especially the little kids. We want to remind you all to make sure that the kids stay tuned into CCGS Kids on YouTube. Pastor Raul's heart has always been for the kids here at Calvary Chapel Golden Springs to be able to minister to the families during this time. So we're excited. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to get back in touch with you. But just know, Sunday morning, children's ministry will be open. If you want to drop your kid off, we're excited about that. If not, feel free to enjoy the service from your car, from the tent, from the fellowship hall. Again, we're just excited that the doors are open, and we as a church have the ability to do what God has called us to do. So we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. God bless you.
I'm keeping nothing back from who you are. No hidden treasure veiled by key or lock. You're a lifetime worth of worship, and that's only just the start. Here it is, my every waking day. The minutes, hours, the years of endless praise. For you're worthy far beyond all I could say. There's a light